What's up, folks? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Thank you so much for tuning back in. I'm not gonna lie, this is the third or fourth time I have recorded this video. The first time I just want to get my bearings, get my plot together, get my my timeline together, and then the second time I recorded it, edited it, got it all ready. And for some reason my iMovie corrupted and I lost the file. The audio kept coming through as muted, and anything I did I just couldn't get it fixed. The actual clips have audio. I've listened to all the clips. Everything has audio. But for some reason, when it's all edited together and then exported off of iMovie, it seems to have a corrupt issue in losing the audio. So I got a message from a couple of buddies letting me know. Shout out to Colin for letting me know I should look into CapCut, getting that Pro version. I was going to get Final Cut Pro, but apparently CapCut's cheaper. You can use it on the computer and the phone. So it's got a little bit more options for me. So I'm going to be switching over to that here soon. As soon as I can get that locked in. But until then, I'm going to re-record this video. Because I'm a little frustrated with having to re-record it, I'm recording this first part before I go to the gym. That way I can go down to the gym, get a pump, get a little bit more hyped up after this little bit of frustration, get that frustrations out at the gym, and move on towards recording the rest of this video. So we're going to start off with, it's going to be a bit of a three-part situation, not three different videos, but three parts in the video. The first part being younger life, and then middle of life, and then now current life / going forward to the future. So you can see the different stages of Jacob and the different stages of myself throughout the years. So we're going to start it off with the first part, which is young life Jacob. Me as a youngster was a very active young kid. I played a lot of sports. My parents were very adamant in putting me into different sports that I wanted to try to figure out what was my favorite things to do. So when I was young, my parents were allowing me to try whatever I really wanted to. So I did gymnastics, I did baseball, I did soccer, I did basically anything that my area would offer, I was trying it. Except for basketball, ironically, which going into the future I ended up becoming a big basketball fan. But back when I was young, I really didn't care as much about basketball. I cared a lot more about hockey and soccer, and was really interested in that kind of stuff. So I got really into sports when I was young. However, my family wasn't huge on the healthy food side of things. Granted, we didn't eat out a lot because we were lower middle income, and so we did make a lot of our foods. It was more so portion controls and actually making sure that I was eating enough vegetables and stuff like that. Not on my parents' side, but more so on me. I was a bit of a fussy little asshole, and I like meat, I like potatoes, I like stuff like that. But I was always hit or miss on vegetables. A lot of it comes down to texture. I'm not a huge fan of cooked vegetables for a lot of them. A lot I prefer raw or really cooked, either mushy or crunchy. I don't like the in-between. And so as a kid, not understanding food textures, not understanding how to get around these things, I kind of just avoided them. And because of that, I ballooned up a lot. I also had very little understanding as to how to manage cravings and food control. As a little fat kid, man, I would down an entire family size bag of chips at the age of 7 years old. It was not healthy, not normal. I'd be sitting on the couch eating an entire bag of chips, downing 3 or 4 bottles of Coke, and that was an average Saturday for me when I wasn't at school. So obviously being that young, you have a good metabolism, but you have to still maintain those things with proper eating. And so the way I was doing it, I was destined to be ballooning up pretty quickly. And before too long, I was one of the larger kids in my class and definitely wasn't the average size kid, even though I was still very active. I still loved sports, still loved participating in sports. I was pretty good at sports, not trying to toot my own horn. I'm pretty fucking good. Even now, I'm good at sports. I pick up sports really easily, but I just didn't feel like I was accepted into sports at the same time because I was so big. Everyone else was faster, everyone else had a little better technique, things like that. I'm taking that back. Kids did not have better technique. They just were faster. They were faster and in better shape. I had technique because I didn't have speed or fucking agility, so I had to adapt and become very technical. So my hand-eye coordination is insane. My hand-foot coordination is insane. My reflexes are insane. But my speed was always bad. So couldn't run very fast, couldn't skate very fast. All those kind of things really make you not the most effective athlete in those sports. And so I kind of started to become less and less involved and less interested in sports and more interested in video games and being inside and doing esports type of stuff. So late public school, early high school was when I got really into video games. But through public school, I was mainly into sports and stuff like that. Every day for recess, we were always playing tag. I always remember playing outdoor soccer with all my friends. Grounders, of course, everyone loves playing grounders. Manhunt was always a big one. And so I was always running, always being active, but I wasn't taking the proper decisions or making the proper decisions when it came to eating and my habits, and drinking too much pop, drinking too much juice, eating too many chips, too much chocolate bars, ice cream, cakes, things like that were always a big issue for me. It wasn't in like a fed on to me situation. And so what I mean by that is, like, from a very young age, I made my own lunches. I was taught to make my own lunches. I was given that a level of freedom. When I came home from school, I was able to make my own snacks, things like that. And so I understood how to make food for myself and how to make things that would fill me up for the day versus just filling my lunch bag up with snacks. And so I would take, cheese and crackers, peanut butter jelly sandwiches, ham and cheese sandwiches, bologna and sandwiches, like all those kind of things back when I was a kid. But the problem was, because we never had snack packs. My parents didn't get me like Maynard's gummies or like these little, like the little gummies and things you throw into lunch kits. I never got those. I never got Cakesters, never got like Yo-Hos and all those kind of things. I never liked that shit, the little cakes and stuff. It was never my thing in lunches. I just always hated the fake taste of it. And so I would eat a lot of like normal foods and shit, but I wasn't maintaining proper portions and eating proper things when I got home. I'd get home, snack a bunch of shit at night. We were definitely bad for eating after supper, eating snacks, eating chips, chocolates, ice creams, popcorn, things like that aren't good for you. And being young, I didn't realize how all this was going to be affecting me long term. My parents were just very busy trying to keep the kids fed with the income that we had and the time that we had. And so they were doing the best that they were able to do at the time with the resources that we had. And so they kept us going, they kept us fed, kept us moving, kept us in sports, kept us doing our thing. But we weren't prioritizing healthy portion controls, healthy eating habits as far as breakfast, lunch, and dinner, things like that. It was make sure you're eating. There's always gonna be food in the house. There's always gonna be stuff, but we were very fend for ourselves. And because I didn't have a lot of education on proper eating and proper eating habits, I ended up getting pretty big. And so by the end of public school, I had to have been. God, I'd be surprised if it wasn't 240 by the end of public school. 235. I'll have a picture right here of my grad or grade 8 situation right here. I'll try and find some photos. But yeah, I was a big fucking kid. I was bigger than any other kid in my class. I was definitely one of the heaviest kids in my school. And all in all, that isn't easy on anything, whether it's whether you have a strong friend group or you're isolated or any of those kind of things. You will get bugged for being a big dude. You do start to become, that's kind of like your personality. They kind of just expect you to be the big dude that's going to eat a lot or eat their leftovers or, make jokes about you being the big guy and things like that, which, like, you get to a point where you just kind of like accept it and you just kind of like become that, even if that isn't what you want to be. Like, I didn't want to be the fucking fat guy in the friend group. Like, I didn't want to be the big dude. I wanted to be the normal sized guy, but like, that wasn't really what it felt like my part in the friendship and friend group and part of like the area was. So like, I felt like I was the chubby funny guy. Like, that was my thing. So I just kind of like never really cared about health, even though I knew it was important. Never took it seriously, never gave a shit. Even though a lot of my family members, like my cousins, are very active. My cousin Keenan was always a big inspiration for me when I was younger. I always was like rather envious of how athletic he was and how good a shape he was in all the time we were younger. And even now, like, he's in his early 30s or late 20s, early 30s, and he's still in good shape. And those are things that are brought into you at a young age. And if you are able to get into those systems and get yourself into a spot where you know how to eat properly, how to eat the right things, eat the right times during the day, you will be able to maintain that over the course of the coming years and be able to be in a better shape over time. But young Jacob didn't understand that. I only lived in the moment. I was able to go out and do things. I was a bit of a latchkey kid, so I was able to go run to the grocery store, grab some snacks, like go to the convenience store, things like that. And so all of these abilities to make my own decisions at a young age with a lack of information caused me to make the wrong decisions, which is the case for everything, no matter whether it's food, drugs, alcohol, partying, driving young, any of these issues that go on when you're a young age. If you don't have the proper education in your mind when you are then given the freedom to do whatever you want, you make poor decisions. It happens every single time unless you know what the right decisions are, and I didn't at the time. I just knew to eat some food to make sure you weren't full, you weren't hungry every day, and to make sure that you didn't just eat McDonald's all the time. And so I wouldn't. I would just eat other things. I wouldn't even, like, not until high school I got really big into eating fast food. But, like, it was just the shitty fucking time of eating. I was eating 8, 9 o'clock at night, eating big bags of chips, eating chocolates and ice creams, and, like, it's not a combination you want. And if you're seeing this in a youngster in your family, step up and make a decision about this, because like the kid's gonna balloon to a point where there's more work to get back to being a normal size than it is just to maintain a normal size in the first place. So like, don't allow these things to spiral out of control if you see someone around you having the same issues, as far as being under the age of like 12 years old, having control over what they're eating, but not knowing properly what to eat, how to eat during the day, what kind of things should be in your meal plan, and all these kind of things. Because at the end of the day, you're going to end up having somebody that's in the same position that I was in, where I'm confused as to why I'm the size I am, having no idea how to get myself back down to a normal size, and just feeling like you're rudderless in a big lake, which can be very scary for people that are young. So that was basically what my young life was like. I was a very active kid, playing a lot of sports, thinking I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, until I realized that I was continuously growing, and not in a way that I wanted to be growing. I wasn't getting stronger. I wasn't getting more athletic. I was just getting bigger, and that's not a good sign. And so thankfully, I was able to kind of see that this was happening a little bit. And going into part 2 here, when I get back from the gym, where we talk about my high school life. So when I get back from the gym, I'm going to start up onto part 2, which is going to be starting in high school, going into college. And then part 3 is going to be college into adult life. Honestly, the high school time is the worst time of it. High school into college was the worst time period as far as weight gain, mental health depletion, and all around happiness in general was at an all-time low through high school and early college. But thankfully, you will see the progression that I made, the decisions that I made to get myself out of that rut, and what you can do to hopefully help somebody in your life that's going through the same thing if you're not going through it yourself. But yeah, so I'm going to go hit the gym. Going to get a nice big pump going. Stay tuned. See you guys. We are back from the gym. It was a crazy leg day today. My quads and hamstrings and glutes are on fire. Your boy's trying to grow his cakes because he is flat as a wall. We're going into part 2 of the fitness saga, going into high school and early college, which is going to be the bulk of this video, quite frankly, because it's where most of the progression happened that led into me becoming more conscious of my eating habits and my fitness habits. So starting off with high school, when I started grade 9, there was one big issue that happened, which was I had full freeness to eat whatever I want and go wherever I wanted to get food, because now we were in high school and some of us were able to get access to friends that had cars, or we had older cousins and things that had vehicles. So we were able to get rides to neighboring towns that had fast food restaurants like McDonald's and Harvey's and A&W, which my town didn't have. My town that I'm from, for those of you that don't know, is a super small town. We only have about 4,000 people. There is a Subway and a grocery store that were within walking distance. Now there's a burrito place that's within walking distance, but it wasn't there when we were in high school. So it was just the grocery store, a Subway, and a Max convenience store. The town next to us, though, it had all the restaurants, all the fast food places. So we would tour over there. It only takes 10 minutes to drive over there. But like everyone from high school would be going over there at lunch. And so it became a norm to go and eat there for lunch, which was like an everyday occurrence. Like we would be going there, eating McDonald's, getting quarter pounders and fries and all this shit. And at the time, I wasn't playing any like competitive sports except for sign-up hockey, which I think I have a photo that I already posted of me with the green tape and shit. That's what I was looking like through like grade 8 all the way to when juvenile starts. I didn't play juvenile level, which I think is like grade 12. That's when I quit, just because I didn't want to play that level of hockey anymore. But when I was in high school, I was still playing sports with my friends, but wasn't playing them as actively, and was kind of just playing them as like a joke thing to do. Except for basketball, I started getting really into, which was going to end up becoming a bit of my own downfall, not realizing it at the time. But I started really falling in love with basketball and just like the techniques of it and the beauty of the game. So I started playing more with my friends, mainly because my friend Eric, that I was really good buddies with through high school, and we were always hanging out and shit, was really big into basketball also. So it was really easy to learn from him because he was really good at it. Still very good basketball player, actually. So it's nice to be able to learn from someone that was a lot better than myself and kind of get better at the game. We used to play one-on-ones a lot and all that kind of stuff. So then he introduced me into coming to a pickup basketball league that I would go to quite often. But through high school, I was building more and more and more self-esteem issues because I was getting bigger and bigger. And every time I'd go to do these things, it was always like, oh yeah, there's Keem just coming to mess around, or it was always like a joke thing, which I just kind of, again, like I said in part one of this, that like when everyone around you just keeps like reiterating that that's what you're there to do, you just kind of like get self-defeated pretty quickly. And I'm not putting any of this on any other people. A lot of this was myself projecting these things more than it actually being the reality. I would show up to a lot of these things and no one would actually say like, oh, there's fucking Keems, the big chubby guy, shouldn't be on our team, he doesn't want to run, all this kind of shit. Like, that wasn't like the reality of anything. It was just me thinking that was what's going to happen, which was more just my self-esteem and mental health stuff more than it was actual anything else. So I used to go to basketball on Thursday nights with my buddies and get a little bit better at the game. But the issue was that because I didn't have the confidence to do it, I never tried out for like sports inside of the school where I could actually kind of like transition those skills to where people that I knew amongst school would actually see it. So a lot of the times I was kind of like shining in my own world, but not being able to show those skills to those that were around me all the time, which doubled down on the issues I was already having. So I'd be known as kind of like the chubby sort of guy that plays sports but isn't that good. But in reality, outside of that, I was like getting better at sports, trying to learn more about the games and things, but still didn't have my eating habits down at all, and my mental health was getting more and more like just unknown. Like, it wasn't that I was out of control having depressive outbreaks or any of these sort of like issues. I just didn't know what was causing me to not be as confident as I was. So then by late high school, I was really, really, really into basketball. Like, it was one of the main things I was focused on, and I was trying to get better at the game. And at one of the pickup Thursday night basketballs, I was posting somebody up. My foot got caught on their foot, and that's when I twisted my knee. The bottom half of my leg didn't turn. The top half of my leg did turn, and I walked off the court and could feel my knee being really loose, having no control to hold my body weight up. And at the time, I was probably close to 350 pounds, 360 pounds when this injury happened, which was a big reason why this injury happened in the first place, because I was way too big for what my joints and muscles could handle, because I wasn't working out. I was just a big dude playing sports, but not actually working out to strengthen the ligaments and muscles around my knees and elbows and stuff like that. So injuries were going to happen. When you're that size, injuries are going to happen because your body isn't made to be that size. So I hurt my knee, not realizing how bad it was at the time. I did go to the hospital, but of course, those of you that know from the small town, our small town hospital at the time, 8-9 years ago, didn't have a whole lot of like funding and shit, didn't have a whole lot of like stuff going on. So like we didn't have doctors that were on all the time. It was kind of like an on-call situation. And so the doctor was on call at the time because it was Thursday night at like 10:30 at night. And so they were like, it looks like it's just like swollen. You should just, you probably go home and come back when the doctor's in the morning and get it checked out. Well, I went home, my knee was swollen. So that was a good telltale sign that I had done something serious. Little did I know, I had torn my ACL, for fuck's sakes. So I went home realizing like, oh, this is just a waste of time right now. I'll come back in a day or two when there's actually somebody in, and I'll come during the day. Well, at that point, the pain went away, and my knee swelling went down, and I was kind of just back to normal, able to walk again, totally fine. So I just thought like, oh, I must have just, twisted the joint or like hyperextended it or something, or just like when, you hurt your ankle when you're playing soccer or something. I thought, oh, well, I just sprained my knee. I'll just leave it for a little bit and not play basketball for a few weeks. So I took like a month off, came back to basketball, and was like, you know what, let's just see how I'm feeling, how things are feeling. My knee felt solid, didn't have any issues, felt like normal. So we go there, shooting around during warm-ups, and when I took one of my shots, it hit the back of the rim and bounced down the court, and I just went to go to retrieve the ball. But when I did that, I picked the ball up on my one leg with all the weight leaning forward. I'll demonstrate here, one sec. So I came to pick up the ball. The ball was like that. I came to pick it up on this is my bad knee, and put all the weight forward, but I was kind of moving forward when it happened, and I lifted this back leg up. That's why I'm not lifting it right now. And I picked the ball up, and my whole knee shifted forwards. So yeah, my whole knee like shifted forward because I had already torn my ACL, and so it had some sort of other injury on top of that. I dropped to the ground in some of the most pain I've ever been in my entire life. Thankfully, at the time, a buddy of mine, Jacob Pearson, happened to be there, who was able to check out my leg a little bit because his brother had suffered a few meniscus tears and was like, man, you need to go to the hospital and get your leg looked at. Like, this looks like a pretty serious injury. Your knee's swelling up pretty quickly. It looks like there might be some fluid and stuff happening already. Like, you need to go get your knee looked at. This could be a serious injury. So I went to the hospital and waited, got checked out, and what I was told was that it could be some sort of hyperextension. It could be some ligament tears or some ligament like pulls. Nothing serious. I was told, and it was my family doctor at the time that happened to be in the hospital. He said, just take a month off, see how you feel. Take maybe a month or two off, whatever, how you're feeling, and then go back to basketball if you're feeling like you're up for it. So I took a while off, honestly. Like, I was not trusting that opinion. I was like, clearly something's wrong with this. I can't give full stability on my leg. I can't stand on it and give full momentum because it feels like my knee is going to give out at any moment. So I was like, fuck this. This can't be right. So I waited like a year. Like, I didn't really play solid sports for like a long ass time. When I did go back though, I was in my prime, dog. I was a fucking bucket getter. Let me tell you, okay? They were calling me the White Mamba, dog. Tell me that. I was shooting. I was posting up. I wasn't dunking. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I can't fucking jump. My fat ass wasn't getting off the ground no matter how much weight I lose. I got no vertical. But I was shooting. I was playing pretty good defense, although because I knew my knee was fucked, I had to like adjust the way I played defense because I couldn't go laterally because my knee couldn't go side to side. So I had to like turn my foot, and like some people that knew I had a bad knee knew they could like abuse that side because my knee was bad. But those that didn't know, I could lock their ass up. They didn't know what the hell was happening. So I know that I was in the prime of my basketball getting career, okay? I was playing basketball like twice a week with my buddies, playing seriously, and I was also going to the gym a little bit at the time. Hi, Jers. You can see Jers right here peeking in. And I was also hanging out, like going to the gym a little bit with my buddies at the school, like just trying to get more active. And so I was at the like peak, I would say like physical ability of my life when I got my last injury, which is the most devastating injury I had and the one that like ended my basketball career until I get this upcoming surgery, which I'll explain later here. So what happened was we were playing at Thursday night basketball again. In fact, the exact same gym that I had tore it the second time, hurt my leg the second time. And this third time, we're playing basketball. Actually, no, I lied. It was a different gym. We were playing basketball in Hanover this time instead of in Walkerton at Sacred Heart. We were in Hanover at Hanover Heights with a bunch of the guys, and I was on defense. And I remember it in my head because every time I think about my knee, I can think about this last image of this happening. And I was in the defense. My back was to the baseline, and I was watching the guy at the top of the point. He gets the ball, and the guy that was supposed to be guarding Eric, the guy I explained earlier, Eric is a fucking shooter, dog. He is lights out, like Kyle Korver-esque shit. You can't leave him open on the three-point line or that guy's going to fucking splash it. You cannot leave Eric open. That's like rule number one. Every time you play against Eric, they set him like 4 or 5 screens to get him open because he's a shooter, dog. You can't leave this motherfucker open. So I was watching at the top of the point. That wasn't Eric. That was a different guy I was watching. I think it was like Jeff or some other guy. Anyhow, I was watching him because he was the guy I was supposed to guard. I watch him come off a screen. I'm trying to guard him. And I see Eric in the corner of my eye get open in the corner of the three-point line because I'm kind of at the top of the right where the free throw line is. I see him getting open in the three-pointer in the corner. I see that. I'm like, yo, Jeff's not going to shoot this. And if he does, he's not as high percentage shooter as Eric. Eric's like 80% from that shot. I'm like, I'm a hedge over. So I run over. I read it well because Jeff shoots the pass over. I'm watching the pass in front of me. It hits Eric's hands. I come over because he's getting ready. He gets like into shooting position, catches it, gets ready to shoot. I jump to block it because I'm like, oh, he's definitely going to pop this shot because he's like an 80% shooter from here. This is a guarantee. I jump to block the shot, and he goes under my jump. Like he's like catches it and goes low. I'm watching him go underneath me, go towards the basket. When I land, my knee goes like this. Like it opens sideways, and I fall to the ground, and I like almost blacked out. Like there was just so much adrenaline as to like, what the hell just happened? My leg just like exploded underneath me, and I didn't even see it because I was watching Eric. I wasn't watching where I was landing. And right afterwards, I just landed, slid back on my back across the ground for a little bit, and was just like literally sitting there hitting my fist against the ground, just going like, fuck, fuck over and over again, because it wasn't even the pain, because I didn't have a lot of pain, I'll be honest. It was almost numb. It was the like realization that like this injury is serious, and I've injured it probably really badly. Like, I not only that should I have gotten this fixed before, but like I've injured this, like I was scared that I injured it beyond repair, that I wouldn't be able to do anything with it, and I was totally screwed. So that has added such a high level of mental distress, to be totally honest, about the fact that like, am I going to ever be able to play sports again? Like, did I just actually explode my knee at 18, 19 years old? Like, what the hell just happened? So I went to the hospital. They sent me to Owen Sound. I got some MRIs done, some x-rays, all this stuff done. And turns out it's true. I had a torn ACL. I didn't actually find this out until like 5-6 years after that, because I had to wait till I got to Toronto when I got like legitimate health care. But anyways, not going to go down that route. Got to Toronto, met with a physician that's to do with like sports medicine. And they checked my knee out. They were like, yeah, we're going to get you booked in with a knee surgeon to get looked at, because you definitely have an ACL tear and possibly more damage in there. So last week, actually, I went in and met with my doctor, the surgeon that will be working on my knee. He went through the MRIs with me and confirmed that I do, in fact, have an ACL tear. He also, unfortunately, had to break the news to me that because I didn't get it fixed, it was likely the very first injury I had was the twist when I posted up, was the ACL tear. The other two injuries were injuries to my meniscus, and because of that, I have a lateral meniscus damage, and then the other meniscus, whatever it's called, is also damaged. One of them is torn, and one of them is damaged pretty heavily. So because of these damages, I have to go in for a ACL reconstructive surgery, as well as a double meniscus replacement / reconstructive. Exactly, I'm not exactly sure what they're doing there. So yeah, I'm going in to do that on December 9th, which I'm extremely excited about. But because of this stuff going on, going right back, I had to explain the dealio with my knee, because not knowing the fact that I wasn't able to play sports for a little while, like that heavily affects my mental health from like grade 13 into early college. So now that we're at the end of high school, you realize that I was at the heaviest I was. So when I damaged my knee, I'm like 350 pounds, okay? 350, 360 pounds plus. Honestly, I was more than 360. I was probably hedging towards 375, which is crazy to think about now. But when I moved off to college, I knew that I needed to get something figured out, but I was fucking scared, yo. Like I had two options when I went to go apply for colleges. I either could go apply and go to the places that all my buddies were going, which was Fanshawe. All my friends went to Fanshawe. Or apply somewhere else and reinvent myself and become the person that I really want to become. And I thought, you know what, let's take this leap. You'll either do it once. My mom was like, you know what, you got this opportunity. Take the leap. Everyone was like, you got this opportunity. And they were right. I did have the opportunity. I should take advantage of this. So I did. I moved off, decided to go to Humber College on Lakeshore in Toronto, and I loved it. It was a great school. No negatives towards the school. Fantastic place. But because I was so far away from all my friends and everything, and I had like such a negative mental health level of like self-confidence and ability to put myself out there. Like I was such an introvert at the time that I didn't meet anybody my first year. Like I barely knew my roommate. I didn't meet a single person. I didn't work out. I barely played sports, and I just was like pretty miserable. I'm not going to lie to anybody. It was a really weird experience, because I had in my mind was like, oh yeah, Toronto's going to be sick. There's all these cool things you can do, all this food, all these things, blah, blah, blah. And I basically just like lived like I did in Walkerton, except in Toronto. Like I ate fucking Subway. I didn't change in what I was doing. Like I was the same person, but 2.5 hours away from home and more isolated than I was before. So I got scared. I was like, should I move back home? Like honestly, I was thinking like, do I change schools to where my buddies are at? But I never did. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Humber's my home. I'm going to do this. This program is fantastic. I'm learning a lot. And so I pushed through and ended up finishing my schooling there. But while I was in school, I had this huge breakthrough on the mental health side of things, which was I got into a lot more group projects. In fact, one of them that I'll never forget in my mind was in my globalization class. I took my second year. It was the first class I took of the semester. And we had these group projects where you like match up with people, and we would talk about we had to pick where one of our families was from originally and do like a discussion piece on how that country, like how they came from that country and what their like whole thing was. And it was just a discussion about people coming to Canada and like globalizing and all that kind of stuff. So it was pretty fun, and we got matched up with a lot more diverse people than I would ever have gotten back home. For those, again, flashback again, for those of you that don't know about Walkerton, it is 99.999% white farmer dudes and women, and so there is not much diversity. There's a handful of people that are part of the minority group, and so like there isn't many people that aren't the same in that area. So people get very attached into their echo chambers, and so that was part of the reason why I wanted to go to Toronto, was like get more diversity. So my very first group in the second year when I went to school, I'm like, I'm gonna meet new people, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be able to reinvent myself and get some more confidence. My first class I went into, I got matched into a group with like the most diverse people possible, people from all over the world, parts of different LGBTQ plus groups, all this stuff all into one group, and I ended up being the only person that was a like white cis male in this group. I was the only person that was like in my town would be considered like a basic person, and so I was like, holy shit, this is fantastic. So I was like just the hillbilly that was like, yo, can I just like ask you guys questions because I'm just like fucking stupid and I want to learn more about like your country, your culture, your lifestyle. Like I'm just like not ignorant, I just want to know more because I'm so like depraved of this like amount of culture that I just have never been around learning this stuff. And by meeting with these people, learning about their lives, learning about how they're confident in being the way that they are, really opened my eyes to being like, you know what, like you gotta do this shit for you. You're not doing this shit for anyone else. So all that time that I was in high school being like, I gotta be this fucking chubby funny guy because that's what everyone wants me to be. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Like I know I'm young and stupid. Everyone can look back and be like, yo, you're dumb when you're younger and all that kind of shit. But like now that I really look back on it, I'm like, bro, I was just falling into what the echo chamber was, and it was not healthy for what was going on in my life. So come second year college, when I met these people and everyone was like really introducing me into how to be more confident in my own skin and being myself, I was able to just kind of let down my barriers a little bit, be a little bit less introverted, and get out there and meet some more people. And in that time, I was able to meet a couple of really awesome people. Shout out to Rowan and Sal, two of my homies that I met in second year college. We had a class together, learned, someone made a comment about smoking weed, or I made a comment about smoking weed or something like that, and ended up there with stoners also. So we linked up, smoked a couple of blunts, had a chat. Now we still chat. We're on each other's Instagram, Snapchatting and shit. And like, honestly, they were the first few friends I really made in college, and I'm still connected to them now, and they're fucking awesome guys. And I'm just glad that I was able to have that experience of meeting other people to push me out of my comfort zone, to then meet these new people. Because by meeting Rowan was playing basketball at the college in just like a little pickup league. I was able to get back into sports, even though I had this knee injury still, not knowing how serious it was. I would go with a knee wrap. We would play really low key. We wouldn't go super hardcore. And we have a lot of fun. Him and I would play one-on-one all the time. He'd shoot me a text like, yo, let's go downstairs. Let's fucking smoke a joint outside, go inside and play some basketball. And it was just a lot of fun, man. Like, it was like the perfect college experience for what I was looking for. And it really molded me into becoming a lot more confident in myself and being able to push back into trying to learn how to be more physically active and more on top of my eating habits. So second year college, I ended up going from, here's the photo of first year college moving in, and then this is a photo of second year college, like right around my birthday. So I made a huge change, obviously, in my body. And I will tell you, most of this, almost all of this, is just from playing basketball and eating a little bit better each day. So just from that, I was able to drop, like, I think it was like 125 pounds, roughly 125 to 140. It's somewhere in there. I forget exactly the numbers. And I dropped a shit ton of weight. Like, I was way less fat than I was before. And because I was less fat, I wasn't as self-conscious about myself. Therefore, I wasn't projecting my own self-consciousness issues onto the others around me, which double-folded my confidence level like crazy. Like, I went from being introverted, not wanting to meet anybody, being scared, being like hidden in my room playing games and shit like that, to going out to meet people all the time, trying to do more group work in my classes, trying to meet people around campus and stuff like that, going to these little like meet and greet mixers and all this kind of shit, just trying to meet people and see what the city has to offer this small town hick kid, you know what I mean? And it was great. It totally changed my life. I finally got my mental side a bit more in check. And then my physical side was also following up behind that, because I didn't realize when I was in high school how mentally unchecked I was, not in like a negative, but just in the way that like, this is what is affecting me becoming so big. And so because of that, come college, when I finally got a grasp of my mental health side, I was able to transition that unknowingly, like I didn't even do it on purpose, unknowingly into a physical side, which was the whole game changer of me through that time period, becoming the person that I am now. So I'm very excited that I was able to get control of that, and I thank those that are in my group for them unknowingly changing my life like crazy for the future, just because they were confident in being themselves. So that's a bit of a message, and honestly, I've noticed that even in myself now that I've became a lot more confident and a lot more extroverted in things, is that I get messages from some of you guys on my Instagram just about like, what kind of stuff can I do to, you know, work on me being more confident with going to the gym, or more on top of my meal plan, because I post some meal plan stuff here and there, or get more consistent with dropping content, which I'm not the best person to ask for that because I'm not the most consistent in the world. But because I've become someone who has became more extroverted and more confident in themselves, I have now become someone that has changing people's lives a little bit unknowingly, which, not trying to like hype myself up or fucking balloon my head or anything. I'm just saying that like, you don't realize that with you being confident in yourself and like pushing out that level of confidence and that aura to other people, you are inherently helping people without even really realizing it. And that's one of the things that I found really cool with all this content, was just helping people not without really realizing that that was happening. And so yeah, that was the college, late high school into college experience, where I've got from the largest I was going into college, where I finally got a grasp of my mental health and realized that if I don't get my a grip of my mental health, where I'm not projecting all my issues and all these problems and having a woe is me lifestyle, I'm going to be able to progress towards the future and towards the things that I want. Because I'm no longer like walking into a room and feeling like that. This is what happens. This is literally what will go through my head. Okay, I'm going to explain, because I know for a fact there's others of you that are listening to this video that are going to 100% relate to what I'm saying here. So this is what would go through my head we're planning to going out. Okay, my friends are like, all right, we're gonna go to this party. All right, here, let's plan to go out. Okay, I would pick up my outfit, and then I would think to myself, man, what are people gonna think of me in this outfit? Like, am I gonna look normal? Are they gonna make comments about me? Is it too tight? All this different stuff. Finally, pick an outfit that works. We get to the party. Before I even walk in, all I'm thinking is they're gonna be like, oh man, there's fucking Keems, fucking chubby Keems, whatever, and then make some comment about me looking big or whatever kind of thing. So the second that, before I even got in the party, all I'm thinking is like, somebody's gonna make a comment about me. This is gonna happen. I know, because I'm the chubby friend. Like, here we go. What's gonna happen? And no one ever really did, to be totally honest. Like, it was very rare. And when they did, almost everyone checked them. They were like, yo, man, that's not cool. Like, they would just shut it down right away. So I don't know why I always had these issues, but you know why it was? I didn't know at the time, but I do know now. Because I wasn't fucking confident. It's because I was so insecure with myself and so like negative about myself, because I didn't like the way that I was looking. And that's how it is. Like, it was that pushed me to change what I wanted to be, was because I didn't like what I looked like, and I didn't like the way that I was turning that physical look into a mental health issue, because I was projecting my issues onto everyone else around me. So I would go into these parties being like, everyone's gonna fucking make fun of me, everyone's gonna think I'm fat, blah, blah, blah. In reality, I am fat. I'm making fun of myself for being fat because I'm not confident in the way that I'm looking. It's not good the way that I'm looking, because I'm extremely overweight. I'm causing issues because I blew up my fucking knee because I'm overweight. And all these things were like a reality check when I got older, but at the time I didn't realize that. I was just pushing this shit on everyone else around me. So it just doubled over. And that's what the problem was. And I know many of you out there are going to be hearing the same things, where you project these mental feelings onto those around you when those people around you aren't even actually saying those things to you. You're just worried they're going to. And I can promise you, we're not 15-year-olds in high school anymore. They're not going to say what you think they're going to say. I guarantee it. It's never happened to me. It's never happened to those I talk to that finally break that mental barrier. And I'm telling you, it's a spell. You put yourself under a spell, and it's hard to break. I get it. But trust me, like, it's bullshit. Nobody fucking believes that shit. Nobody's going to make fun of you. Nobody is acting like that. And if they do, they're losers. Nobody wants to be friends with those kind of people anyways. So fuck those people that are making fun of adults when you're an adult. Like, it's not cool shit. Grow up. You know what I mean? And so that's where we're at this point. It's like, I'm now realizing when I got through college that my physical health ballooned to where I was because my mental health was so unchecked. I didn't realize that. And that was where I finished college, was mental health and physical health now getting in check. We're going to move on to part 3 now, which is adulthood, finishing college into adulthood, and going into today, which is going to be a little bit of a shorter bit. I promise it's not going to be as long as the part we just listened to. That is the bulk of it. That is where most of the realizations happened. So we're going to go into part 3 here. I'm just going to get something to eat because I just finished at the gym. So back in a sec. All right, folks, I'm back. Just mucked a bunch of beef pasta. It was delicious. I am feeling full and big in all the right ways. Thick with 2 C's, not CK. Pow, pow. You guys just got a free ticket to the gun show. Don't share that to your friends because they don't got free tickets, all right? So going into part 3 here, my adult life after college becoming a lot more on top of my shit. So after college, I moved back home because I don't know if you guys know, I finished college in April 2019 when the first COVID cases started breaking out in Toronto. So we got the opportunity to get our rest of our residency paid out and move back to our hometowns if we wanted to. So that's what I did. Moved back home. My dad also needed help with a construction company, so I started working there. And then after a little while, when he got some more employees, that's when I transitioned over into the dispensary, which I talked a little bit about that in another video. And if you want me to go through a whole dispensary cannabis journey video, the whole explanation, everything, how I got here, the steps I took, all the trials and tribulations, let me know down in the comments. I'll make another video about that. I don't want to go into that right now because it's going to be another half an hour long talk. So when I got back to my hometown was when I had my mental health at its best and my physical health at its best. And I was back with my homies because everyone was done college. So I was like, all right, this is going to be the best. We're going to be able to play sports together again, go hit the gym because now I'm confident enough to go hit the gym with people. And I'm excited to go like get on top of this shit. Yes, COVID's happening, but the lockdowns and things hadn't happened yet. We were just moved back home and kind of doing our thing. So during this time period, we ended up just shortly after COVID, I guess, whatever it is. I ended up moving in with my buddy Caleb and my buddy Eric, who I mentioned before, that plays basketball. Caleb bought a house, and he needed a couple of guys to come move in, help him with the mortgage payment with the new house he just bought. So we moved in, and it was genuinely the greatest like time for that to happen in my timeline, like in my life, because what happened was I moved in with those guys and they were like really heavy into going to the gym and being on top of like fitness and stuff because they had just finished college and they went to college for police foundations and private security investigations. So they were both taking like fitness classes and gym classes in college, learning more about physical education. And so they took that information back home and got more into going to the gym, working on trying to gain strength and build muscle, what to eat properly and how much protein to eat and all these kind of things in order to build muscle and all this stuff. And so inherently by living with them, I was like, this is a perfect time. Like, I'm going to fucking hop on this shit, go with them to the gym, get on these protein, get on this shit. I'm going to be fucking yoked. I'm going to become big. I'm going to be fucking massive. This is going to be great. And that's kind of what happened. Like, I not exactly didn't get massive. I didn't become The Rock or fucking Terry Crews or any of these things. However, because they were around me, I was going to the gym all the time. I was eating a lot healthier. We would wake up in the morning. We'd make breakfast. We'd go to the gym. We'd go play golf during the summer. We'd come back, watch a movie, eat some dinner together, and all this shit. Like, it was fucking sweet. And because of that, I ended up becoming a lot more confident in going to the gym, both with people and on my own, so I didn't feel like I had to have someone there to babysit me and teach me how to use all the shit. So I just got a lot better at all that stuff. And I got more in tune with getting physical activity into my every single day to the point where it felt like if I didn't go to the gym one day, I was like missing something. Like, it was a weird feeling, and even to this day now, it's even more now, where if I miss the gym for a day, I feel like I haven't like slept or haven't eaten or something. Like, it's a part of my daily routine. And so it doesn't matter when, but I just have to go. And so I was working out constantly. This was me again when I just finished college. I'll show a picture of me like just starting at the gym. And this was me by the time I finished living with the boys. And so it was a pretty big transition. I'd gotten a lot better at going to the gym, a lot better at my eating, a lot leaner, and my confidence was going through the roof. but I was still kind of stuck in small town Walkerton. So once I moved off to Toronto, I really pushed hard into the fitness side of things. Like I started meal prepping a lot more, watching macros, going to the gym consistently, and actually watching what I was working on, watching a lot more fitness content for inspiration on how to get into it more and inspiration on how to create content. And all in all, I transitioned a lot more. As you guys know, you guys watch my social media, you guys see my Instagram. I've gained a lot more muscle mass. I've leaned out quite a bit more. One of the things I've noticed recently too was when I was younger, I never had like my smile. See the like little skin things? I never had this when I was younger. Like I was just like a puffy faced kid. And so now when I'm like smiling and shit, I see like definition in my face, or like when I do like this, I look at. So you can see my arm moving. That wasn't a thing when I was younger. That wasn't happening. See like that little line? Not a thing. That wasn't a thing before. That was never going to happen when I was fucking 375 pounds. I was never getting muscle definition. And now the more and more of it that I'm getting, the more and more I want to like cut down how much fat I have in my system so I can get more lean and look like get more muscle mass. Like I like the look of it. If I feel more confident like this, and I'm excited to be able to like ooze this confidence out and become more the way that I want to be and more the self that I've always wanted to be, which is what I'm becoming. It's fantastic the like level that mental health mixed with physical health combines into like personal wealth and health. Like I'm not like wealth and like financial, but like just like personal like you become the character you're wanting to be. Like I don't even know how to like word it fully. Like it's just I have never been more confident in myself than I have ever in my life. Now that I am eating properly, going to the gym consistently, helping motivate others to do the same thing, creating content that I've always wanted to do, going to do things that I've always wanted to do. Like I never would have done any of these things. I wouldn't be making a YouTube channel. I wouldn't have going to meet these people at facilities I've never met them before at. I would never be going to events with all these crowds. I would never be leading like the way with Brett and all the other people that are posting content for active stoners. And like none of this would have happened 10 years ago when I was overweight, super self-conscious, and didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So for those of you that are out there that are looking for, you know, a message or a sign to push towards what you need, like this is your sign, guys. Like drop the shit. It's on you, okay? No one else is going to do this for you. No one else is going to hold your hand for you. If you need someone to go to the gym with, find some friends. Hit up a Planet Fitness where it's extremely accepting and they're not going to be juiced up fucking guys scaring you and shit. Just go hit the treadmill for 30 minutes a day. That's all you need. Eat like 250 calories less than what you're supposed to take in during the day. You're going to lose weight. It's how it's going to work. You're going to feel more confident with being at a stage of your life where you want to be. And I'm not saying that you have to be skinny in order to feel more confident, but I'm telling you straight up, regardless of like the like fat positivity movement, which I'm on top of, is you can't be at a weight that's going to do damage to your body long term. And that's the problem we're at right now, is that it's becoming more socially norm to be at a weight that is detrimental to your joints and your lower back and your overall longevity of your health. And like it's not very hard to be able to make a couple of little adjustments to get yourself over time to where you're at. And I'm not saying that boom, you're going to make an adjustment and overnight you're going to drop 100 pounds. No, it's going to take years. It's going to take months. It's going to take a long time of this. But you don't have to do a lot each day to make a big impact over a long time. Okay, that's the biggest thing, is small changes each day, every single day, consistently over a long period of time makes a major impact. And that's what I started to realize now that I've finished college, got my mental health in check, and I've started getting more confident and hanging out with more people that are into physical activity, more into physical health, and trying to get on their shit. I will be honest, meal plans are still my thing I slack on. I will destroy a pint of Ben & Jerry's like it's nobody's business. So that's just how it is. But you know what? We're all going to eat shit we're not supposed to. It's not about not doing what you're supposed to. It's about getting back on the wagon each and every day the next day and going back at it again and not letting yourself slip consistently. So you guys got this. I'm here to always, whenever you guys want some motivation or someone to bounce some information off, ask questions, I'm always here to try and help you guys out. And if I don't have answers, man, I'm going to point you to some sort of social media star that does, because that's what I do. I look for it there. So Thank you guys very much for tuning in for this video. I know it was just basically a Jacob blab fest. I don't know how you guys are going to receive this video. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I know it's a little bit of a taste of the back end of Jacob, and you learn a little bit more about me. I'm kind of dropping my walls a little bit with you social media fans, and you guys are learning a little bit more about me, which trying to be a little more vulnerable to you guys, so you guys realize that, like, just because I'm looking super confident on social media, doing all this stuff, doing all that stuff, I have been vulnerable in my life. I have been weak. I have weak moments. Everybody does. It doesn't make you weak because you're having weak times. What makes you weak is allowing those weak times to destroy you and field your life, okay? If there's something that you want, go out and take it. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. And it's on you. It's not on anybody else, all right? No one's going to do it for you. You've got this. Power down, pedal to the metal, don't fuck around. It's 2025. You got endless resources with social media, YouTube, Google, whatever you need. No more bullshit. Get yourself to the way you want to be. It is going to be a sick summer of all of us out there showing our guns, pow pow, active stoners, smoking weed, and showing off the guns. So have a great rest of the day, everybody. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. Drop down in the comments what you guys are doing this year to try and stay active and try and get on top of your goals and what your goals are this year. Have a great day, everybody. Appreciate the support. Peace.